I don't study cats or dogs myself. I study the owners of the cats and dogs, not just the kids and teens, but also the millennials, and that's what I will share with you today. And one of the societal trends that we see when we study the pet owners is a lack of trust. Don't worry, not necessarily a lack of trust in vets, because you're still humans, so that's okay, as opposed to certain world leaders across the world. But some politicians and world leaders led to a declining trust among society. And this is a study done by Edelman. Every year they study which professions do people still trust, and doctors are still really trusted high, politicians not really, and journalists and media in general, as you can see, they're the real enemy today. Because of fake news. Across the world, 7 out of 10 people say, I don't trust media anymore, I don't trust journalists anymore. So I don't trust the information that I read anymore. This also has an effect when we translate it to your clients, because they're looking for information. They're looking for information online, and Dr. Google, they use Dr. Google for their pets as well. The only problem is, can we still trust what we read, or is it fake news? Is it actually true? So it's one of the frictions that we found while we were doing research. I have the pleasure to work together with the Consumer Research Department of Royal Canin, with Daniela and Brad. And one of the findings was actually, it's a friction. People are not finding the right information because of fake news. To me, as a presenter, I like the concept of something fake versus something real, because I think that friction, you can use it in presentations as well, because presentation is an information part. And so that's the reason why you found, normally you found these 2 sticks. Are these yours? I will just lend them for a moment. These 2 sticks somewhere on your chair or near your chair. If you didn't find them, they probably disappeared in some body opening, so you have to try and find them. If you break them gently and you shake them a bit, they start to glow. Don't break them too hard, because we bought them at Alibaba for like 1 cent. So they easily burst, and then they ruin your clothes for the rest of the evening, and I don't got an insurance for that, so be careful. Break them, shake them, and then you have a green one and a red one. And we will need them, because I will present you some cases. Some of them are true, so fact. Some of them are partly true, but partly a lie, actually. See, a lot of greens. I hope you also have a red one. Yeah? Show me the red one as well. Okay, you do have the red one. You should shake the red one a bit more, though. Let's first dive into some, you were doing well. Dive into some trends, and one of the trends we see is the world is changing a lot. One of the changes we've seen in society is related to this date, November 11. Who knows what happens on November 11? Shout something a bit louder. Sorry? Remembrance Day, Armistice Day. The end of the First World War. Some people will say that's November 11. Other ideas? No, that was 9/11. 9/11. Election Day, that's also something that I've heard, but it's not the reason why it's here. Sorry? Yeah, Singles Day in China. Singles Day in China. In Germany, some people say it's the start of Carnival, and in the Netherlands as well. But in Asia, November 11, 4 times 1, symbolizes being single. It's actually an idea of 4 university students back in 1993 that thought it was not fair there's a Valentine's Day, but there's no day for singles. And so Singles Day in China, it's really big, and Alibaba actually thought at 11/11/11, let's use that as our commercial alternative for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And today they're actually making last 11/11/18. They made $28 billion on one day. $28 billion, that's double the total sales of Black Friday and Cyber Monday combined on one day by Alibaba. because there's a lot of Chinese people, as you probably know. But also because people like the discounts up till 60%, and also because there's increasingly more singles in society. There are 300 million single households today, on average across the world. 40% of the households, so also of your customers, is a single household. And in many cities, it's above 60%. That's why they created programs like Sex and the City in New York, many single women. But it's something happening across the world. And this has an effect on society, of course. One of the effects is more delivery services of food. Deliveroo, Uber Eats, they're really growing. It's the fastest growing segment within the restaurant business. And another effect is, of course, that people want to bond with pets. And we already heard some examples here on stage today. They want to bond with their pet because they get love and affection, unconditional love, I think the CEO mentioned, from their pet. And it's not always the case with your wife, I can tell you, because I divorced, and so, yeah, it's not always unconditional love. When the lawyers come in, it stops being unconditional. But with a pet, you don't have that problem. So people are bonding more with pets than before, not only because there's more singles, also because of the rising mid-class in Asia. So there's many drivers actually for a growing market, you could say, a growing market for you as well as vets. One example that we're not only talking about millennials is this nice campaign of Pedigree. Pedigree actually did this Replace Your Child program for baby boomers who were suddenly confronted with their millennials leaving home when they were like 33. Finally leaving home, you could say, hotel mama. But when they left home, they were there sitting in the house. Oh, it's so quiet in here. What should we do? And a good thing to do is then to adopt a dog, which is what Pedigree has done. It was a very successful campaign. They created a micro website on which you could actually put in the behavior of your kids that left home, their activity level, what were they eating, are they social or not. And then the website said, okay, you should take this breed of dog because it resembles your children in the end. Very successful. It led to times 8, so 800% growth in the number of people that were adopting dogs from shelters, the most successful adoption program in all the time of Pedigree. Singles. Otherhood, a bit related to singles. It means that women are postponing to give birth to children, especially the millennials for the moment, because they want to explore life, also called Tindering, or they are giving priority to their careers, or sometimes for medical reasons as well. But what we see a lot is millennials saying, okay, we are not sure that we can keep a child alive, so let's first start with a pet. And if the pet survives, then we can start thinking of raising a kid. I think, and you would probably agree with me, it's even more safe to start with a plant, a cactus, for instance, a cactus. That's a good choice. Then the pet, and then a child, perhaps, or even the child first before the pet, because we're here as pet lovers in the end. So my first case study for which you need the sticks is related to that, and it's actually related to Scotland. I'm not sure if you know it, but in Scotland, if you adopt a puppy or you buy a puppy, you get 1 week off. It's part of the Scottish law. Or it's fake news. What do you think? So if you say, yeah, I think, Joeri, you're right, you get a week off if you buy a puppy in Scotland, then show me the green. If you think this is fake news, show me the red. Okay, I will try to count them. Give me an hour. See a lot of greens, especially to the side. They're not living in Scotland, probably, and a lot of reds in the center, the Scottish. So it's fake news. It's not true. It's not true. It's a good idea, though. It's a good idea, I think. But it's fake news. Although there are some companies, I heard there's a war for talent going on. There are some companies that are actually offering it. because they know that millennials, they are so fond of their pet that they are offering this type of extra benefit. And this is an example. It's not a beer for dogs, by the way, but it's Brewdog. It's just a craft beer company in Scotland, and they're offering this to their employees. So first part of my presentation, oh, it's that side. Distrust in media and information, which is the reason why you also and Royal Canin play an important role, but also more singles, otherhood, and yeah, pets are the new family, of course. Let's dive into the second chapter, and that's more on the agile mindset of your customers today and tomorrow. And first, two things that I want to combine is a micro aspect, so that's all about me, myself, and I, and a macro aspect that's more collectively us as millennials or as society in general. First, have a look at the micro me. And micro me, it resonates with tailored solutions, personalized products and services. And it's clear that this new client is actually growing up with the idea that they have everything at their fingertips. They can decide what they want customized all the time. When I did an interview at Levi's, no, it's something completely different than your industry, they said to me, Joeri, we have totally changed our retailer strategy in the past 5 years. Today, if you go to an important Levi's store, you will see cool guys like that one, certified tailors that are inside the store to completely change the product. So if you want to have like a 501 jeans, but you want to have a skinny jeans, they will taper it for you. If you want to have a hot pants, with the weather today, you want to have a hot pants 501, they will cut the legs and still make sure that it looks great. And this sounds normal today because we as customers, we're used to personalized products that we can change. Now, 5 years ago, when I did a workshop with Levi's, I said to them, you have a problem, you are boring. You are boring to your customers. And they said, what do you mean? We invented the category. We are the owners of jeans. And I said, you were, but if you listen to your customers, they say, this 501, it's always the same 501. And they said, Joeri, you know what? We will take this into account, but don't touch the 501. Because the 501, it's the holy 501. We invented the jeans. Levi Strauss, the gold digger, created the first jeans ever, and it's still the 501. We never touch it. And I said, that's why you're boring. So what they're doing today is completely different than 5 years ago. Today, if the customer wants to put holes in the 501, they say, creative, creative. So that has changed in society. Our customers become more do-it-yourself. And as we heard before here today on stage, it's also sometimes a problem because it means that before going to the vet, which many of them see as it's a stressful experience for my cat or dog, let's first try Dr. Google. It's a problem. In our research, we have even read some stories of people saying, when I was sick as a child, my mom prepared some homemade meals, so I'm doing the same when my dog is sick. I'm thinking, okay, let's make some food at home that will heal him before I go to the vet. That's the do-it-yourself thing. We want to do things yourself. The customer wants to do that themselves. The next phase in personalization is being hyper-adaptive. I'm not sure if you know this shoe. Who knows this shoe? It's obviously, it's a Nike. This one is the self-lacing Nike. Have you seen Back to the Future? Who has seen Back to the Future? You remember these self-lacing shoes? Nike is creating them today. Actually, they already did the first version. It sold out in a week. You can only buy them now on eBay for $1,000. And this spring, they're launching that new one that is not only self-lacing, but also taking into account if you're stepping, it will release some pressure. If you're running, it will tighten everything. So it adapts to the environment. The only thing is you need to charge the shoes. So that gives like new opportunities for kids coming in late at school. They can say, yes, but you know, my shoes weren't charged. That's why I'm late. So a hyper-adaptive shoe. Another example, who saw this one? Yeah, some of you did. What's typical about this movie? You can choose the storyline. So it's not just a movie, sit back, relax, laid back, but it's a movie in which you have to choose, okay, now I choose another direction, and then the story evolves. And there's 7 different endings of this Black Mirror movie, depending on the choices you're making. So the product is actually changing according to what the customer wants. Coming back more to nutrition, in human nutrition, there's this Vita Mojo in London, where again you start with giving your weight and your height and your activity level and your fitness goals, and they will develop a personalized nutrition plan that takes care of your goals. So a bit actually taking care of nutrients instead of ingredients, just like Royal Canin is doing with the food. They're doing that for human food. And then you can even do a DNA test. So send him some saliva, and then they will say, okay, this is more personalized even based on your DNA. And it's quite a trend in marketing today, actually, that DNA tests, they become cheaper and cheaper. And people believe that with a DNA test, you can actually give more personal advice and more personal products. In our research that we're doing with different generations of customers, you see that the younger they are, the more they believe in tailored approaches, in co-created approaches, that is do-it-yourself, but also in giving personal data and even my DNA. I'm giving my DNA if I get more personal solutions from me. So the next generation of customers is already open to this. They want this. They want more personalization. They want to give their data to you as well if they get more personalized services in the end. So that's micro, that's the me part. And then there's macro. That's more about purpose and meaningfulness. And customers, they want a point of view. A great example that we saw last summer was WeWork. WeWork, you know, WeWork, co-working spaces across the world, where you can rent a small space or you can just sit there and work for some hours. The founder of WeWork said to his employees, to his personnel, we're banning meat in our company. So if you work at WeWork within the company, 6,000 staff members, they cannot have meat anymore in the canteens, or even if they go on a client dinner or lunch, and there's someone of the clients actually had meat for lunch, they won't pay you back. Because they believe meat has a negative effect on society, on the environment, on the use of water, on CO2 emissions, and of course on the life of animals. So he believes we should ban meat, and if every company should do that, then in the end we're improving the world. Quite an extreme point of view, but WeWork is typically a space that is really attracting millennials. It's typically also attracting millennials as staff members, and they like this extreme point of view. Not sure if you've seen this shoe. It's an Adidas, but it's a vegan Adidas. Stella McCartney actually designed this. As you can see, that's not Stan Smith over there, but on the label, but it's Stella McCartney, daughter of Paul McCartney. She's a fashion designer, and she designed vegan Stan Smiths. And in fashion today, getting rid of fur and even leather is like the new trend. The London Week is without fur. The Helsinki Fashion Week is without fur and without leather. So not using animal products in fashion is like the new trend, and often fashion is at the forefront of other industries as well. I bought my wife a pair of these, and the funny thing is, although it's faux leather, it's not real leather, it still smells like an animal if you smell the shoe. But perhaps that's because my wife is wearing them, I think. She knows I'm using that joke, by the way. I have a signed agreement on that with the lawyers. Yeah. So point of view is important. Pedigree points of view is we're not just into the pet food market, we're also doing a lot of work around shelters, giving back to society. And this is a great campaign that I have done actually in Brazil, working together with TV stores and electronic stores that did this campaign. Campaign, and now we come to the, you can also always put your hands together for the campaign. Why not? The next topic is the attention economy. It's very hard today to get the attention of your customers, to get on their radar as well. This is, again, it's a graph. I'm into market research, so I apologize for a boring presentation. As you can see, the young generations, they're using multiple screens. And the younger they are, the more screens they're using during watching TV, which means that the retention span is actually shorter and shorter. So it becomes harder to get their attention. So one way of getting their attention is doing something like Nike has done with this commercial.
Post from someone, opinion from someone, belated birthday wishes from someone, picture of someone's baby, 753 more pictures of someone's baby, someone checked into an airport, someone on vacation telling you they like being on vacation, someone you've never met wants to be your friend, someone likes music, someone you don't remember likes something, live stream of kittens, someone comments about something, someone comments about the comment, someone invites you to join a game you don't want to play, someone shares a petition to save narwhals, an ad for that thing you already bought.
Quite a simple campaign, but really effective. It says it all in the end. I think we already made a comparison of what does owning a pet mean for human health as well. It's also something that was used in China, where on the back of a medication like sleeping aids or antidepressants or fat burners, they put these comic strips that explained that how owning a dog or a pet is actually improving your health on the back of the medication. So really finding other touch points, you could say. Another example is this bus station in Lithuania, where people actually had to think like a cat to push that button over there, and then they could receive a sample of cat food over there. So it's a bit of gamification that actually gets the attention of customers as well. A bit related to this attention economy is the next topic, and for that I'm asking your opinion again. Totally different industry, the car industry. This is SEAT, Spanish car make. SEAT here in France is selling cars on Amazon, Amazon.fr it is in France. And so you can buy a SEAT car here in France, select the color, the engine, and then get it delivered within 72 hours. Or is it fake news? What do you think? So green if you say yes, you can buy a Seat here online. Red if you say it's fake news. A lot of believers. I will influence the disbelievers a bit. Yeah, well, I think 90% says this is true and it's fake news again. It's what I told you, you shouldn't always believe people on stage here, especially not me yet. They did it as an experiment for 1 month here in France, and only with one model that they developed together with Mango, the fashion retailer. You could only buy that specific car on Amazon.fr, and you could get it delivered within 72 hours. 30 people actually did it. 30 people bought a car on Amazon. So that was, to them, it was a surprise, and today many car brands are already experimenting with it in Europe, whereas in, I always forget to do this. And I cannot kill the sound from here, so I should do a little dance, and I'm not a good dancer. In China today, you can already do it. With the Taobao app, you can actually ask for a test drive, then say, oh, this is a nice car, I want this in pink with that engine. And then the app says, now drive to that vending machine, a vending machine, not a retailer, and the car comes out of the vending machine. So they have branded vending machines in China working together with Taobao, Alibaba, etc. So it's the next phase, of course. Why? Because customers expect everything to be there 24/7. And I'm sure you as a vet have noticed that as well, that if you give them your mobile, they will call you 24/7. They expect everything to be open all the time. There is a business in the business of people. Again, from our research, we see that the younger the customers are, the more they say, yes, I have a very busy lifestyle. So the youngest, not adults, say, yes, I have a very busy lifestyle, more than us adults. Oh, we only have to raise children, do a career, travel to Montpellier to do some presentations, then to Sydney. But they say, yeah, but we have to go to school, you know, and do homework. We're very busy, very, very busy. So that's the reason, this busy feeling, that retailers like Sainsbury in the UK is offering groceries within 1 hour delivered at home. They use bikers to deliver your groceries within 1 hour. So you click online and they bike to your home and deliver it within 1 hour. Now you can question yourself, what do you really need within 1 hour where you can just do a walk to a shop? I was thinking of toilet paper, but still someone has to answer the door if the biker comes along. So that's not really a solution. Now the funny thing is, this is Sainsbury 2019 and this is Sainsbury 1882. They were already offering the same service back then. That's the reason why people were buying with Sainsbury, because they got it delivered at home with friendly people coming at home with their bikes. The bike looked a bit different than today, but that's the only difference. Okay, they were not ordering it online in 1882, probably. But it's still the same service. So we're going back to the roots, you could say, because the customer today is IWWW. It's an acronym, IWWW, and it stands for, I want what I want, when I want it. I want what I want, when I want it. And if you add wherever I want it, it becomes IWWWWW. And you can go on for that for ages. That's also the reason why in the US, for instance, people can order the pet foods online with Nom Nom Nom. And it's not just pet food, it's personalized pet food for responsible pet parents. So they start with free nutrition consultants. You give some information online. Then they create fresh-to-order restaurant quality ingredients, restaurant quality. And then it's perfectly portioned based on Dr. Schmalberg's recommendation. Dr. Schmalbergh, that sounds a bit nasty to me if you ask me. Is there someone in the room called Dr. Schmalbergh? No? Okay. And then you get it delivered at home for free. So no big efforts. no extra costs. You get it delivered for free because the shopper today wants seamless services. Think of ASOS, fashion retailer. Not sure if you've seen this image recognition app of ASOS. It's very cool. If you see someone sitting next to you or on the row before you, you can sneakingly take a picture with your mobile, like, oh, nice shoes, check. And then it automatically connects with the 85,000 items in stock. And it says, oh, you took this picture, you have shoes that really resembles the ones you took a picture of. And you can use it with something you see in a magazine, on TV, at a billboard. So it's very easy and very fast. Another example, Beijing, KFC in Beijing, you enter the store, the camera recognizes you, says, hi Joeri, glad you're back. We already ordered 2 cheeseburgers, French fries, and a medium Coke Zero. Because that's what you always order. And 80% of clients always have the same routine. So it makes the queues shorter to do that. And you only have 15 seconds to cancel it, otherwise you get your 2 cheeseburgers and your Coke Zero, and you will eat it anyway, because you feel, okay, yeah, that's true. I eat that all the time. Amazon Go, you know this case? In an Amazon Go store, you can enter the store, take whatever you like from the shelves. There's no checkout anymore, you can go out, because your mobile phone and biometrics in the store keeps track of what you take out of the shelves and then charge it, you know what I mean, to the account. Now, this was the Seattle campus thing. It took Amazon 1 year to be able to offer that to more than 20 customers. Because if like the 22nd came into the store, suddenly items were charged to the wrong bill. So they had some engineers figuring out how can we solve this. Then they solved it, they opened the store, and you know what happened? This. There were no lines, people at the checkout, because there were no cashiers anymore, but you had to queue before getting inside the store. So not really a solution, you could say. From the travel industry, we saw this example, EasyJet. That's a nice example. If you want to go on a holiday, there's always the friction, what shall I do with my pets? To a pet hotel, you're feeling a bit guilty. And so immediately when you book like an airline ticket at EasyJet, they will say, okay, if you have a pet, check this. We will find a pet sitter for you. And not just for your dog or cat, but also if you own a goat or a llama or a chickens or a pig, there are people willing to to sit on your pig, how you say it? No. To take care of your pigs, actually, when you go on a trip with EasyJet. And then you have this example again from nutrition. It's not from Dr. Schmalberg's, but it comes from Germany as well. It's the Fressnapf Smart Ball.
What if there was one brilliant answer? What if you had a customized food bowl that knew exactly how much your dog should be eating? And a comfortable collar that tracks his activities? And an app that orders food automatically? What if there was something that smart? Wouldn't you love to have it? With the Smart Bowl and the associated technology, Fressnapf created the world's first engagement ecosystem that makes dogs healthier and owners' lives easier. Plus, it adds sustainably to Fressnapf's income and gives dogs and owners more quality time together.
So an ecosystem, you could say, also making life easier for everyone, but also good for the pet. So that was the second part, talking about the busyness, the EWE customer, but also seamless shopping, micro-me personalization, and macro meaningfulness. And then I come to the last part. I already made a lot of jokes about my wife, my ex-wife, so now I have to turn to my children. This is my oldest Gen Z daughter, and 2 years ago she put this on Snapchat. Netflix is my boyfriend. And I said to her 2 things. 1, you cannot write anymore, typical for your generation, it's Netflix with an L. And 2, you can take your boyfriend to your bedroom if you like, I don't care. So that's the new generation. And actually, since last Friday, she has a real boyfriend. And I'm afraid that I did it, because I put a pin code on Netflix, because she was watching Netflix all the time and not studying. And Friday, she just suddenly announced, Dad, I got a boyfriend. So I immediately removed the pin code. And now I'm not sure what I have to do with a boyfriend yet. If you have any advice on how to deal boyfriends to get rid of them, please tell me. But this is the new situation. Netflix, watching Netflix, as you can see, but also YouTube, being on WhatsApp, Snapchat, Instagram. That's the new media for this new customer. And if you compare that to live TV or even time-shifted TV or even Facebook for the youngest, it's not so compelling anymore to them. So these are the media that they're consuming on a daily basis. And of course, it leads to a new type of influencer. It used to be TV, it used to be traditional media. Today, influencers are these Instagram influencers and also petfluencers, as you can say. This is the top 10 influencing pets online. They reach 70 million people on a daily basis. And Grumpy Cat, for instance, quite famous, has been on the red carpet together with Jennifer Lopez. She starred in movies, in TV programs, the MTV Movie Awards. So she's quite a celebrity because she looks grumpy. And she has a lot of Instagram followers as well. Now, there's a reason why this young generation is on Instagram and on YouTube. Of course, because for one reason is that they're showing their lives, but they're also interested in vloggers because they're real. They are like them. They're real people. So when we talk about reality in business, we can talk, or in marketing trends, we can talk about augmented reality, virtual reality even. But even more important is what we call actual reality, or real reality, or being authentic in the end. And the reason why this became important is because we did this in business in the past 5 years.
Authentic, bespoke, raw, artisanally crafted toilet paper. Hand-pulped and hand-perforated, the way toilet paper used to be. Come with us as we roll back 100 years of innovation, introducing Quilted Northern Rustic Weave. Craft you can feel in every square. It's tissue that's genuinely tree to toilet. For a more memorable bathroom experience. New Quilted Northern Rustic Weave. Also available in small batch, cedar loom, and extra virgin birch. Quilted Northern Rustic Weave, designed to be remembered.
That's what we did in business. So suddenly innovations are not important, artisanal, local, crafted becomes more important. And I'm not sure that's the right direction, because there's a marketing savvy customer that doesn't believe everything we say, right? Trust in information and media. The last case study, who had every option right up till now? Show the green stick if you had every answer right. Yeah, that's not bad. I would say 6.5% of the room. This is your last chance to have something right, and it's related to this guy. This guy is not just an ordinary guy. It's not Jack Sparrow, but he's also called Jack. It's Jack O'Neill. Jack O'Neill founded the O'Neill Surfwear Company. So surfing equipment, shorts, bikinis. And he lost his eye when he was testing one of his products, and he invented a wetsuit, allowing surfers to surf all year round. Do you think that's a true story, green, or do you think it's fake news, red? So the ones who believe it, green, show me the red if you say it's fake news. Some people are not voting, but reading emails. I take that very personal. Take it very personal. The majority believes me, finally, and you're right, because this was a true case. This is the real Jack O'Neill, or I must say it was the real Jack O'Neill, because he died at the age of 94. He was still passionate about surfing, living on a beach in California. He created a wetsuit and lost his eye when he was testing the leash, the lifeline with your board. He was doing it together with his son, and he got a board in his eye and lost his eye. But he was quite passionate about his business. And I think passion is something that we all have here, not only the Royal Canin people, but every one of you here has a passion to create a better life and a better health for pets. And it's that passion that people want to feel. So we should increase the touchability of our service. Touchability is important to connect with this next generation because they don't just believe you because you have a medical expertise. And one of the insights we got when we were doing research with Royal Canin is people say, well, a good vet for me, it's not about a medical expertise, surprise, surprise, because that's like the standard condition they expect from a vet, but it's about empathy they show. Empathy for our feelings as a pet owner and empathy for our pets. That really makes a difference in the service level that we are feeling today. And I know it's not easy because you want to balance your expertise and your medical background, and you're a doctor, you're there actually with all the science in your head, but you're dealing with clients that are humans and that expect empathy. And sometimes it's in the small details. This is one of the examples we saw in our research. Small details like just showing, hi, I just had a surgery, it all went well, I see you tomorrow. And you post that, if you have this client relationship, to your clients, not on Instagram, but on a WhatsApp to your client, and they love it, and they will post it on Instagram, because I know you cannot do it legally, but they can. So this really makes a difference, this empathy, this connection, this emotional connection with your customer in the end. Transparency about whatever you're doing is also important. It's a bad comparison perhaps, but when I'm going to the dentist, she's explaining every second what she's doing with me, and I don't want to know. I don't want to know, but she's doing it because transparency builds trust. Transparency builds trust. A good example is this e-tailer, Everlane. Who knows Everlane? No one? Then I should ask them for some money because I'm giving them this exposure. Everlane is like a sustainable e-tailer. What they do is for everything you're buying, you see this shirt, for instance, there's this, you see to the right lower corner, it says made in Shenzhen, China. And then a link, see the factory. If you click that link, you get some explanation about the factory of the shirt in Shenzhen, but also this is the owner of the factory, and they do it for every item. You can see pictures, videos of people working in the factory in Shenzhen because they know that their customers are really concerned about sustainability and about transparency, and they want to know what they're buying in the end. Even on the price setting, they say, this is how we made our price. Some materials, some transport, some duties, and then the true cost. Then we take our margin, and this is the cost at Everlane in the end. Track and trace also related to that. People want to know where do the ingredients come from. An example from Open Farm, pet food. On every bag of pet food, you find a unique code, and with the code you can see where did they grow the vegetables, where did they get that, where did they get this. Quite important to the customer of tomorrow. And then the last thing I want to show, because I see my time is up, is this one, also with vegetables. The roots are made for walking instead of the boots. This is a nice example how McDonald's, of all companies you could say, gave an answer to this trend of what I call Brooklynizing marketing. The example we saw of the toilet paper, everything should be local and crafted. They came up with this advertisement in the UK in 2017.
I just want a coffee.
They call it madness. 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 They call it madness. It's plain to see. That is what they mean to me.
That's great.
Madness. Madness. I call it madness.
Hi, can I have the Wi-Fi password, please?
Yeah, sure. It's fly high with your dreams.
That's £9.
What? McCafe. Great tasting coffee.
There you go.
Simple.
Thanks.
Sticking to your roots, where you stand for, it's also important to sum up the last part. It was about actual reality, authenticity. Think of the influencers, vloggers, why they became so popular is because they are real. They're authentic, they're real humans, they're real people. We all are humans here today, not just scientists or doctors, but we feel emotions. So become more touchable, transparent, track and trace, and stick to your roots. That's the last advice. Thanks a lot for your attention spent in the past 45 minutes. Thank you.